welcome back to the show where we look back. If you want to support the show, me, check out my Patreon, get extended and bonus episodes. Today, we have a very exciting event, a new location that is an old location, and we have a brand new cast member. My name is Ashley Clements.
And my name is Jessica Jade Andrus, and this is the Look Back Diaries.
Dude.
I don't know why
I love that.
Ritual.
No, that's perfect. We're looking back. I know, I just keep making the same jokes about it. The name is just so that the initials are the same.
Oh my god, Ashley, I didn't even think.
It's okay, most people didn't realize it, and it's entirely why I did it. But also, it is very confusing to have two shows called LBD, so I didn't necessarily really think it through.
That's great. That's great. We'll just get a lot of crossover. People are like, what am I doing here?
This is LBD, on which we watch LBD.
It's very meta.
It's extremely meta. Let's take a look back at this, shall we? So here we are, and let's welcome to Netherfield. It's called Let's Take a Look at This.
Where were we filming at this point? That was
this
in the Valley House.
This was, I mean, this was over on the west side at Jenny's old apartment.
Right.
And this was Jenny's bedroom. And for those who have not already heard, this is the same room as Lizzie Bennett's bedroom at a different angle. That's
hilarious.
A different wall. I am sitting on the bed, and this dress was Laura Spencer's, and she brought it that day because she said she was going through a closet and she thought that it looked like something that Lizzie would wear, and I thought that was so sweet and such a Jane thing to do. So I'm wearing it. Yeah, it's a dress. I don't think I stand up, but it's like a shirt dress, you know. Like
it is so funny. You never see anybody's like
legs
lower situation.
Yeah, I had to like really think about it the few times I stood up and go like, oh, what am I gonna wear? Yes, and here we are in. I mean, speaking of.
Oh my God! Stop. You guys, this was like such a good threesome cast for you all three, like sisters. It was so great.
Well, thanks, but
did everyone have red hair when they auditioned?
Yes, we did. Wow. I mean, like someone could have dyed their hair, or like one sister could have had a different hair color, but it definitely, I think,
because a lot of times with redheads, it doesn't happen like that, right?
I do know 3 redheaded sisters, and they're each like a slightly different shade.
See the dress.
You can see that it's a dress.
It's so cute.
Oh, hello.
Oh my God.
Look how stunning you are. See, like the clothes bring back the memories too, because we were all wearing our own clothes.
I remember because my friend used to borrow it all the time.
Look at you.
I remember, oh my God, our makeup person. Someone did our makeup, right? We didn't do that. I was like, I definitely did not bring that.
I, at this point, was doing my own, but everyone else had a makeup artist. I was, at this point, just afraid of her because I didn't like what she did on the first day. I eventually came back around.
It was a lot of makeup, but I think actually it works.
I think it totally works for Caroline.
Yes. I was going to say with everyone else, I'm like, maybe not. I remember being like, whoa. And then I was like, oh, I feel like.
We also wore less as it went on, but.
An hour and a half to put on my face.
Yeah, so you reveal that you've been watching these, which means you've seen us talking about you. And mostly Darcy. Talked about Darcy a lot, and your brother. This is a big reveal moment.
And we filmed didn't we film like 4?
Really? For you filmed 4 this day. I filmed 9, but yes, you filmed 4.
I filmed 9.
Yeah, I always did 8 episodes plus a Q&A, which was like 9 episodes. So that was always my filming day. But you are as I look at my notes, I think.
Girl, this makes me miss my long hair. This is not really 10 years. This is 10 years. This is insane.
I know. Isn't it insane?
I'm trying to remember like what was even happening like in my life at this point.
I know it's been very trippy for me because I've gone back through like old photos and old emails. But this has seriously changed a major dynamic of the show.
I know it was like I remember when we went to the conference, right?
VidCon. You were
And
announced at VidCon.
I was a little bit your nemesis.
Yeah. I mean,
A little bit.
it's the most.
Oh, my cat.
Oh, kitty,
Okay,
kitty. It's the most kind of villainous character that we get on this show. And in the book, there's Caroline Bingley and there's Catherine de Bourgh as these sort of opposing forces, but we never get Catherine, and you kind of ultimately end up filling that role in some ways. So you are, yeah, you're the you and I mean and Wickham, sure.
Oh, yeah.
But in terms of if the main romantic story is about Lizzie and Darcy, then you are like one of the main impediments to that because you want him for yourself.
Yes.
You are such a great Caroline because you're really walking this line of convincing Lizzie that she's her friend and not actually being a friend. You're great casting because you are genuinely just one of the nicest people. And so when you put on that kind of like mean girl thing, you don't just completely fall over the edge into like super mean girl. You know what I mean? One of the old emails that I was looking through was finding the list of like people for the Caroline callbacks.
Oh,
and
yeah.
yeah. Do you remember your audition?
Speaking of wardrobe, I remember what I wore. Well, I freakishly remember what I wore exactly. I wore a leopard tank top and this like frilly pink skirt.
Now I can picture it too.
That's so weird. I think maybe because
We put so much thought into that kind of stuff.
I think also because since this isn't my MO and I, do not run around with boatloads of money, like, whatever, I was like, what is in this actor
What do
wardrobe?
rich people
Yeah,
wear?
I'm like, rich people wear leopard print. I don't know. That was my vibe. I think I was like reaching for something that felt elevated.
Well, and sometimes the most useful thing a costume can do is make us feel different, right? So that we feel
100%.
more like a character. And I can see, I'm like, yeah, no, if Jessica puts on leopard print, then
You're like an animal and you're like, because Carolyn's a little like sneaky,
she is very sneaky.
manipulative, kind of, although.
But you were very good at actually being manipulative as opposed to sort of tipping the hand, which some people played it a little bit more one note, a little bit more obviously lying. And it's like, well, if
Totally.
you're obviously lying, then Lizzie is stupid.
Lizzie's very smart. Yeah, and I think the thing is, I also feel like Carolyn is pretty lonely and would really like to have a real friend, but has never really had one.
And I've certainly been in the situation in real life where I kind of didn't identify that someone was sort of a frenemy because we did enjoy our time together, but then there were just because of competitiveness, which a lot of it comes from the patriarchy, let's be real.
Yeah.
The idea that we have to compete with women because, only some of us can succeed. And also sort of that idea of like competing for boys or whatnot that there are those girlfriends who kind of like occasionally insult you in a way that makes you go like, but that hurt my feelings.
Yeah, I unfortunately had like far too many of those when I was younger.
But I think it takes having had that experience to understand how to play this relationship. So I think that like we used it.
I'm remembering now who I based this off of.
But here, what we learn is that, like there's enough information, especially for people who read the book. There's enough information to know like red flag, red
Yes.
flag. I would be curious to know how people who had not read the book responded to Caroline.
That would
so
be
if you're watching
interesting.
this at home, feel free to comment below because certainly we had already kind of demonized that character.
Yeah.
But we hadn't talked that much about Caroline.
And I think it would also just because, sadly, you're right, like the culture, we are kind of on the lookout for like female feud,
Caroline's a girl boss, except that she's actually just inherited wealth.
I know.
doesn't have a
What
job. But
what
look,
would I what would I say? Just get off your ass and work. I don't even know
absolutely.
who I'm taking that from, but
I have no
somebody
idea where
somewhere
that
said
came
that.
from. Somebody somewhere said that. Speaking of people saying things, let's take a look at the comments. Greg Hop says, I feel so sorry for the woman who ends up with that douchebag for life. Yes, everyone, it's Darcy, and they do. Ha 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 ha. Susie says, I remember when I first saw this video and thought, wow, Caroline here is way nicer than her
Oh,
book counterpart. Maybe they made her a cool, genuinely chill person, like how they made Lydia more likable. I bet she turns out to be great.
I'm guessing that I didn't turn out to be great, according
We
to you.
don't know yet.
That's
These
true.
seem anything could happen at this point. But so
Oh,
that does answer the question, right?
that's
That's one
true.
person who just thought, oh, maybe she's nice. SR says, I'm too preoccupied staring at Caroline to pay attention to the story because she's too damn gorgeous. Like weirdly
Oh,
gorgeous, inhumanly
inhumanly.
gorgeous.
Thanks. I should screenshot that and read that when I feel sad.
Right. Sometimes we just gather these things. We're like, I'm just gonna hang on to this.
You're in your
It's
happy
true.
box. I do remember I forget. We occasionally got like fan mail, right? Did we get like hard
Physical stuff, some
physical stuff?
Bernie would occasionally give us things
Bring
that people
stuff.
had sent.
Because I remember this one girl, I forget. I
Also,
think I
you
do
came to conventions and people could hand us stuff at
maybe
conventions,
that
so you
she
could have
handed
gotten
me something at
something
a
that way.
convention, but she put like she said something, and then she had this. She's like 100 gold stars for your face, and she put a gold star on the thing, and I was like, that is the 100. Like, I think
Oh.
the max you can get is like 4 or 5 at school.
Adorable.
Adorable.
Yeah, we really had and continue to have the very best fans.
It's really true. Genuine.
So we made it to Netherfield. We'll come back soon and see what happens next.